So, it's been over a week since EA dropped the latest patch, and yesterday I dedicated some time to testing it. I played for about 2 hours, doing about 10 matches, and this is what I concluded. The first fight was a women's strawweight fight, and considering the fact that the women's weight classes are notorious for having an overabundance of stamina, this was the perfect weight class to test out some of the stamina changes. The patch claims to have increased the stamina cost of blocked, missed, and evaded strikes, a 7.5 increase for blocked strikes, and a 10% increase for evaded strikes. I worked my opponent's body with roundhouse kicks predominantly while also making them miss, and by the end of round 1, there was a clear, noticeable stamina difference between us. More of the same continues in round number 2, and by the end of round number 2, it looked like my opponent just completed the 4th round of a 5-round fight. I mean, she really looked tired. So far, it's looking like the stamina changes actually has an impact. Round number 3 turned into a slugfest where I got rocked and almost finished, but eventually I got the KO with a brutal overhand right. Now, of course, I'm not gonna reach a conclusion on stamina from just one fight, but based on this first one, man, things were looking pretty promising. In fight number 2, I picked Jose Aldo, and my plan was to work the legs, but also focus a lot on doing damage to the body. I remember seeing some complaints that ever since the patch, doing significant body damage was tougher, and honestly, man, I really don't doubt this at all, but I still wanted to see if I could do it. By the end of round 1, I actually had slightly less stamina than my opponent, but I was also more active than he was, and I was using Aldo, so makes perfect sense. I just figured once I actually started doing some body damage, his stamina will take a noticeable hit, and that's exactly what happened. I took my opponent down in round number 2 and spent some time in side control landing knees to the body. And when I paired that with a ton of front kicks to the body, which honestly started to frustrate the shit out of him, I was surprised that he was only slightly more tired than I was by the start of round 3. His body health was getting very low though, and eventually I caught him with a roundhouse to the body while he was leaning away and boom, rocked him. I rocked him again with a few more body shots, and with just 3 seconds left in the fight, I stopped him with a right hook to the body. Now, I gotta say, man, that took a little bit more work than I thought it was going to take, which is a clear indication that they definitely probably will need to buff body shots moving forward. But, you know, we'll see what they do. I tried grappling with Chris Weidman in fight number 3, but my opponent did a really good job on stalling me out in certain positions. He kept his grappling advantage high by just hitting me constantly, so it made it really difficult to get anything going. I tried for all 3 rounds to get my grappling going, and every time I get this dude down, it just ended up being a pity-patter war. And if you can't build GA, you can't really transition, and if you can't transition, well, the ref is just gonna stand you up. And so at some point in round 3, dude, I just decided to abandon grappling and started striking with this guy. He knocks me down with about 45 seconds left, and of course, his ego had to get the best of him. He could have just easily gone in and tried to finish the fight, but he let me back up, which was awesome, because in round number 4, I dropped his ass with an elbow and finished him on the ground. Hey man, look, next time, don't play with your food. Fight number 4 was a fucking brawl, dude. Like, I had Connor and my opponent had Max, and we just tried to knock each other's heads off. Now, I was okay with this though because it allowed me to push the stamina changes better, and honestly, by round number 2, considering how many shots I threw with Connor, I was really surprised to have as much stamina as I had. And what this revealed to me is that the issue is not necessarily how much stamina you're actually losing during the fight, but the issue is how much stamina you're getting back in between rounds. So I think they need to go back in there and do some more tweaks. Maybe reduce how much stamina we actually recover in between rounds, of course, depending on your fighter stats. And I think if they do that, the actual work you do in the rounds will pay off in the next round, because that's what we want, right? You want to do good work in the first round, and when your opponent is coming into round number 2, you definitely want them to come into the second round way more tired than they were in the first round. And I think doing something about how much stamina we recover in between rounds is definitely going to achieve that. Oh yeah, he ended up ducking into a knee and I stopped him against the cage. Fight number 5 was very, very annoying. Like, the player I was facing had some really weird timing on his shots, which led to me getting rocked a few times. But honestly, man, once I got his timing down in round number 2, I knocked his ass out with 1 second left on the clock. Fight number 6 was very grappling heavy, and a lot of that was because my opponent was actually shooting, which is not really what you would expect from someone who's using Jessica Andrade. But hey, I don't mind it, because in round number 3, I locked in a sweet armbar and got the win. And this was another fight that showed me that some of the changes that has been made to stamina is actually working pretty well, because throughout the fight, I was able to maintain a solid stamina lead, which of course led to me getting that submission. So, hey, some things work as intended. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't need more work. I mean, we already discussed that, but for the most part, you can definitely notice the stamina changes. In fight number 7, I wanted to work a grapple-heavy game plan mixed with a heavy focus on body damage to see if I can get another body shot KO. And honestly, man, I was well on my way to doing it. I used the clinch to sneak in body knees, and when the fight hit the mat, I focused on working the body there as well. On the feet, I also focused on landing clean shots to the body. And just when I had this dude where I wanted him, tired, rocked, and ready to go, he decided to quit out the match. Oh my god. Oh well. Fight number 8 was Jon Bones Jones. Y'all didn't think I was gonna do 10 matches and not use Jon Jones even once now, did you? Now, my plan was to grapple a lot with Jon Jones, and honestly, man, I was able to get some good work in round 1. But my opponent caught on to that very quickly, and so in round number 2, he started backing up and throwing a lot of shots while circling, and one of those caught me clean. Man, I got rocked so bad, I was like, what the frick? Now, this second round was kind of ugly, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I really wasn't able to find a clean opening to take him down, and he landed some good shots, but you know what? No worries, we'll make up for that. In round number 3, we started getting into elbow wars, and when you trade elbows with Jon Jones, let's just say it's not a very good idea, bro. Oh my god, fight number 9 was just sad, dude. Like, I ran into this Jameer live, dude, and honestly, I just got my ass beat. I just got my ass beat.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges scored this contest 30-26. For the winner by unanimous decision, Brandon the Assassin Baby Moreno!
Which is not really a new thing at this point. He's one of the few players that beats me consistently. So, if you guys want to see the full fight, just let me know. I'll definitely upload it for you guys. So, the last fight of the session was against a Max Holloway player who was doing the Statue of God experience, where he would just stand in one spot and only move his head. At one point, he tried taunting, and I caught that. And considering the fact that I just got my ass beat the fight before, I had to take my frustration out on this guy. Yeah, I know that wasn't very nice, and I'm sorry. But hey, in my defense, he's the one that taunted first, okay? So, next time, maybe don't taunt me. Anyways, 10 matches down, and what I can say is that the patch is definitely a step in the right direction. We need some more work done, definitely, to stamina to kind of get things where it needs to be. Like I mentioned earlier, the amount of stamina you lose when you're actually throwing shots, or when you're whiffing, or when shots are being blocked, I think it's okay where it's at right now. What I think the problem is in between rounds, we're still recovering a lot of stamina in between rounds. And if they go in and they do some tweaks to that, I think stamina will finally be in a very good place. Of course, some of the tracking issues that we deal with in this game, it's still prevalent. It wasn't fixed in the patch, so it was kind of skewing and messing things up a little bit. But overall, I think eventually that's definitely going to get fixed and things will move in the right direction. In terms of grappling, some of the grappling changes that were done, like one of them being that now it requires 1% stamina lead to be able to bail into takedowns. I was noticing that was really making grappling now requires a little bit more intelligence to actually get into, especially if it's your style to get into those takedown bails. But you know, all that still to say, the regular takedowns definitely still needs to get buffed, because right now every single thing is gearing you towards using the clinch to try to get people down, and the double legs and single legs are almost useless against anyone that knows what they're doing. So those definitely got to get buffed. The distance you cover when you shoot a single or when you shoot a double leg needs to increase, and also how fast the shots are needs to be increased, and the effect of being low on stamina should be more prevalent. Like if you're low on stamina, short term or long term, defending takedowns should clearly and noticeably get more difficult, and right now that's just not the case. So overall, I will say the patch was successful. A lot of what they were trying to do, they were able to do, and it just needs to get tweaked a little bit more, and I think things will be in a good place. So that's gonna do it, man. If you guys enjoyed this video and if you learned something, definitely leave a like on it. Give me your impressions of the patch so far. You know, you guys have been playing the game now for about a little over a week since it got dropped, so give me your thoughts on it, and I will see you guys later. Peace out, boys. Have a good one.